Joe Rogan took to the air to say that as MMA has become more popular, Mark Zuckerberg has become a huge fan of the sport. This past weekend, a podcast by Theo Vaughn that was filmed at Rogan's JRE studio has the two talk about Zuckerberg's interest in the sport. This video highlights the details of this news, so make sure you stick with me till the end. Now, without any further delay, let's get into the video. Joe Rogan, the UFC, and other experts are all impressed by Mark Zuckerberg's sparring video. Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO and founder of Facebook, in his recent post is a sparring video that has been praised by experts in his mixed martial arts. In a video on his personal Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg showed off his mixed martial arts MMA skills, which he is still learning. The CEO of Meta and the founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, made the video post to his Instagram page over the weekend. In it, he talked about his training partner Kai, the Shadow Wu, and his UFC debut. Zuckerberg shows off his clean striking skills by throwing jabs, kicks, grapples, takedowns, and more. Joe Rogan, a UFC commentator and host of the TV show The Joe Rogan Experience, wrote in response to Zuckerberg's video, "This is wonderful. This makes me so happy. Training looks solid too." Rogan wasn't the only famous fighter to show his support for Zuckerberg. Bernardo Faria, a four-time world jiu-jitsu champion and Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner, wrote "amazing" in the comments section of the video. Even the official UFC Instagram account said, "Combos looking clean," in response to Zuckerberg's video. Zuckerberg was recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he talked about his personal life, the future of virtual and augmented reality, running Meta, and the responsibility of data management. In other Zuckerberg news, alert on Facebook, technological giants remove this tool from the social network. Users who wanted to buy a laptop on Dell's page logged in with their Facebook profile to create a profile on the manufacturer's website, but this option has been no longer available for a month. The American TV network CNBC reported that Jen Felch, CEO and Chief Information Officer of Dell, said that users stopped using logins with Facebook for security, privacy, and data sharing reasons. The login is a sign of Facebook's declining influence on the internet. Last year, the company was hit by Apple's privacy change following leaked documents showing the social network had caused damage to its products. Other companies like Nike, Ford Motors, Amazon, Twitch, Patagonia, Best Beauty, and Pottery Barn have removed the option to log in with Facebook. Representatives for Ford, Patagonia, and Twitch declined to comment to CNBC on why they removed the Facebook button, while Best Buy, Pottery Barn, Nike, and Match did not respond to requests for comment. These recent happenings have caused many to ask if Facebook is still alive. Rakesh Soni, CEO of digital identity management firm Login Radius, noted that many companies saw logins as an easy-to-use method for consumers to log in securely without having to set up usernames and passwords. Pages could capitalize on the popularity of social networks. Facebook and Google benefited from all the data they collected about users, and advertisers had the opportunity to promote their products more efficiently. Felch isn't sure whether privacy concerns led customers to shy away from social media logins. He added that they know everything we're doing because every site we log into with a social media account is now open to them. Facebook login is not extinct. Many media websites and news organizations still use it as an option, as do mobile game developers. In other social technology-related news, Steve Jobs' daughter has mocked Apple's new iPhone 14. Since Apple revealed what the new iPhone 14 was going to be like, memes have not stopped circulating on social networks. Users have not been able to avoid being amazed at the enormous resemblance between the 13th generation and the new one. But there is someone who has joined this party who is not invited. This is Eve Jobs, daughter of Apple founder Steve Jobs. The 24-year-old decided to upload a meme on her Instagram stories in which a man can be seen happily holding two completely identical shirts. The photo was accompanied by a tongue-in-cheek caption, "Me upgrading from iPhone 13 to iPhone 14 after today's Apple announcement." But Eve is not the only one who has thrown her hands in her head for the few novelties that the new mobiles bring. The great majority of users have also wanted to use humor to express their surprise. In fact, the model, who is the youngest of Jobs' three daughters, is right. The new iPhone 14, which will hit the market on September 16, has not changed in appearance compared to the previous model. Inside, however, there are a few interesting new features. As Apple has announced, the new generation of iPhone will have, for example, a satellite emergency call for areas without coverage and a shock detection system that will automatically inform the emergency services in the event of a traffic accident. On the other hand, this year it has been decided to eliminate the mini version, replaced by the Plus model with a 6.7-inch OLED screen. Also, the device still uses the A15 Bionic chip, but with 5 GPU cores, which helps increase the ability to handle graphics. Next is about a secret social network that raised millions of dollars but failed due to the wave of cyberbullying. For a few months in 2014, an anonymous social network was all the rage. It was called Secret, and it showed you messages from your friends and friends of friends without identifying anyone by name. Secret was an Android and iOS app that allowed users to post content anonymously with their circle of friends or share it with a larger audience. The social network relatively made available a safe space to talk about drugs, and other things that would get you kicked off Facebook. The app gained interest and at one point was valued at $100 million because it provided an outlet for those who didn't want to be subject to the real name rule of other social apps and face consequences for sharing their opinions and preferences. It also differed from other anonymous applications and that its interest factor for users could be higher. Users knew that the person sharing a certain post in the app was someone in their contact list or circle of friends. The application became very addictive and was used especially in California's Silicon Valley. Some users said they routinely went through the motion of uninstalling the app only to reinstall it shortly after. The startup garnered tons of press when it launched in early 2014, along with Whisper and Yik Yak. It was part of a wave of interest in anonymous apps. It carried the hype into massive funding, allowing the two founders, David Bytow and Bader Wexler, to each take about $3 million off the table. Basically, they traded stock for cash, putting money in their pockets even though the business wasn't earning anything. Secret's slow response to criticism that it facilitated cyberbullying gave it a bad reputation with some investors. Secret gained its reputation primarily as a place for Silicon Valley to gossip. This kind of thing may be a passing entertainment, but it failed to become something that users could form a daily habit for months and years. After a year of slow growth, it ditched its highly visual design and background photos in favor of a minimalist text-only design that made it look like a Yik Yak clone. While he experimented with hyper-local secondary channels for events like the Sundance Alternative Film Festival and the CES Tech Fair, the numbers weren't growing. Bytow denied reports that Secret was going out of business or rebranded as an app creative studio. He cited the strong use by young people during vacations in the United States as a vote of confidence. But that spike in interest was short-lived, and Secret has since dropped out of the top 1,000 overall apps in the US. The number of active users of the app dropped rapidly after only 18 months since its launch. After the initial excitement and interest from users, more negative and unpleasant use of the app emerged. Users, under the cloak of anonymity, participated in all forms of cyberbullying. Secret moderators said that they weren't ready to deal with the onslaught of negative posts and inappropriate behavior. As stories of cyberbullying increased, so did the news media coverage of such stories. A judicial decision in Brazil even banned Secret in that country, considering it unconstitutional since, although freedom of expression was allowed, it should not be anonymous. So why did Secret fail? Simply put, although it was famous as a place for Silicon Valley gossip, it didn't seem to have much value to most people or room to grow, unless it had targeted a high-value segment. The idea of sharing anonymously in one place to expose a raw review was interesting, but it never grew beyond the more banal use cases. Secret's anonymous nature was flawed and incapable of lasting growth. It couldn't have a sustainable community without ground rules and someone willing to enforce them. So, that concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.